Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I think we're 1 or 2 minutes late tonight, but we were just making sure we were all well connected and with the guys at Fidra. So we are chatting to the lovely ladies behind Fidra Gin tonight, Emma and Joe, who we have worked with these guys since kind of pre-launch, and yeah, they're just a lovely pair.
I think we first met them after the Scottish Gin Awards 2018.
Yeah,
I think it was maybe around.
That sounds about right. Yeah. And so we've actually got our first outside based interview or chat tonight because they wanted to both be part of this chat, which is great. And so they're socially distanced by 2 meters, obviously. So on that note, we'll bring them in and you can see what we mean. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi, Natalie.
How are you?
Hi.
Hi. Thank you very much for both joining us. So, are you neighbours? Is it easy enough to be quite close?
Yes, so we're separated by a farm, literally. So I think Joe's about a 5-minute walk from my house. Across a farm, so yeah, it's very pleasant.
That's good. Well, it's so good you could both join us because I know things are really difficult right now. So that's great you could both be here in person. So yeah, do you want to just, I guess, tell us a little about, well, introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about you guys behind Fidra Gin.
Yeah, so I'm Emma Bouglé, so I'm one half, obviously with Joe. And we love gin. We're very passionate about gin, and I think Joe and I met through my middle child Etienne. They were at nursery together with Joe's son Hugh, and that's how we kind of met, and we kind of decided we wanted to work with each other, and that's how we became gin partners.
Yeah.
I'm a childminder, obviously not at the moment due to lockdown, but that was my pre-lockdown life. And I'm currently helping out at a friend's farm doing the veg and meat boxes for the people that are self-isolating at the moment. So
Brilliant.
Fantastic. I know that some of the local produce seems to be well received at the moment, and some of these more local businesses are obviously doing quite well. Something we hope continues after lockdown. Are they finding that?
They absolutely are finding that, and to be honest, it was a popular farm shop sort of before lockdown. But it has I've worked there now for the entire sort of time. I joined week 1, I think, and it's just a constant stream of people. But it's on a farm, so people feel safe going there because you can social distance, and there's only one person allowed in at the shop at a time. And it's a one-stop shop. There's everything there. You can get your flour, your yeast, all your sort of local meats, and the meats from that particular farm.
Yeah.
And so it's been very popular, and hope that people continue to support local after this as well.
And what's the name of the shop?
So it's Brandy's Fortune.
Brilliant.
Nice
So
to shout
Jane's
out.
watching. Hi, Jane.
And Joe, I feel like you're kind of in the corner of our screen there, but
Trying to be socially distant.
absolutely, no good on you.
So I'm Joe Bridie, and as Emma said, we're pretty close neighbours, and we got to know each other through our sons, who are exactly the same age. So they remain good friends. It worked quite well that we got to know them. And I also realised shortly after I got to know Emma and her son Etienne that I also used to work with Richard, Emma's husband, a way back years ago. We both worked at Musselburgh Racecourse together. So I didn't know Emma was married to him at that point. I hadn't met him, so I'd only met her and the children. So there was a few connections. But as well as doing the gin, I'm a podiatrist. So throughout the course of the lockdown, we've been basically emergencies only is all we've been allowed to do, which actually I was quite pleased about. But the last couple of weeks, we've been back on. We're basically back. Well, I say back to normal, but we're not really, because we have to leave big gaps between appointments, and we have to. So we're back to maybe 50% of what we would number of patients we'd see normally. And Emma was saying she's been working at Brand's farm shop. So on Friday afternoons I've been going and doing some deliveries as well. So we've all been chipping in with the local food and drink deliveries.
That's brilliant. And can they sell Fidra Gin there, or is it not?
I'm working on that naturally. Not got
Good.
license yet.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
So we've.
But we'd had our pop-up shop. So
we did have a pop-up shop.
We had a
yes.
pop-up shop there one Friday, which worked really well.
And we've got another one coming up.
And one coming up next Friday.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's great. That's great. You're all supporting one another. That's good.
And can you tell us a bit more about the island of Fidra that inspired the name and obviously inspired your gin as well?
Fidra's a really beautiful little island. It's tiny and it's just off the coast of North Berwick, which is just a 10-minute drive from here. And it's got a working lighthouse on it, so it's very, it's very obvious when you're standing on the beach looking out. It has quite a sort of intriguing history. There were gin smugglers from the Dutch gin smugglers who used to wind their way in between Fidra and also Craigleith Island, which is the neighbouring island. And they used to, the little rowboats from North Berwick used to row out, and they would get their cargo of gin and then row back in, under cover of darkness, so that they didn't get caught. So we found out about that, and the lighthouse on the island is also a Stevenson lighthouse. So the Stevenson family were very famous lighthouse engineers, and they built and designed lighthouses. But the Fidra lighthouse was designed and built by the father and we think uncle of Robert Louis Stevenson. So and he spent a lot of time in North Berwick in the summers and things. And they reckon that Treasure Island was modelled on Fidra itself.
Really?
So
oh wow!
An old map on our label on our gin label, and if you compare it with the map at the front of the Treasure Island, you can see they're pretty similar. So, so those are things that drew us to the island.
Brilliant. And I know that you obviously forage locally. I don't know if any of that happens on the island. I imagine not. I know it's not. It's not habited.
Yeah.
What are?
No, it doesn't.
No,
unless they're smuggling gin.
Well, yeah.
Sadly
smuggling
not.
botanicals.
The island is currently inhabited by puffins.
Okay.
It's a sort of what do you call it, Joe?
It's like a
nature.
I can't remember.
Like a nature reserve.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but we do forage actually for the sea buckthorn along the hedgerows, along the beach at Yellow Craigs. Well, some of the sea buckthorn.
The sea buckthorn. Yeah, well, there's overlooking Fidra. We can pick a whole load of rosehip in the hedgerows along there. So it's really local. The sea buckthorn we tend to get down at Aberlady, which is just sort of one bay round, or say two bays round, where there's a nature reserve there, and there's just loads and loads of sea buckthorn there. So
and it's nice because it's not polluted. There's no cars that are allowed in this nature reserve. There's no dogs allowed in the nature reserve. So it just makes the whole picking experience a lot nicer. And you know that it's a good quality botanical.
Absolutely.
And the elderflower's out at the moment, so I need to go at the weekend with a massive bag. Well, there's a tree in my garden, so I'm going to get some from there, and then there's a whole load in the field behind the house, so I'm going to go and pick a whole load at the weekend.
And we also do a thing with some local friends. They actually live in Gifford, where they pick a lot of botanicals for us, and we do a gin swap. So they give us some botanicals that they can get hold of readily, and they get a bottle of gin in return. So it actually works really well.
That's good. Brilliant. And presumably you have to keep some of the botanicals, dehydrate them or freeze them, or seasonal.
So the elderflower we have to dry, and then we use the dried elderflower in the as botanical. Yeah. And the rosehips and sea buckthorn we can freeze actually. So as soon as they get picked, they get husked and just obviously cleaned and put straight in the freezer. And then we just use them that way. Obviously thyme and lemon thyme is very difficult because it's seasonal, and we can't freeze that. So that has to be as and when we have our lovely plants.
Yeah.
So we have Archfield Wall Garden, who is a beautiful garden down again overlooking Fidra actually, and they very kindly grow thyme and lemon thyme for us down there. And actually, we pretty much we do have a year-round supply because they put them in under the polytunnels in the winter. You can pull them out in the summer when the weather's better. So they've been great actually. So we've managed to get what we need when we need it. So
fantastic. Yeah, it sounds there's a lot of local botanicals there then, I think maybe even more than I appreciated. So I guess there's a few of the more traditional things that, you know, like most do have to buy. So yeah, and tell us about your chance meeting and partnership with Walter from Inchriach.
Yeah, so that was back in 2017. We had just bought our 5-litre still, and we had started experimenting with recipes. And Joe knows Kirsten's beer quite well, and Kirsten invited us to the Gin Awards that year to basically do a bit of background work, and I get a feel for the industry and the people within it as well.
Yeah.
And we happened to be sitting next to Walter at our table. So several drinks later, he offered to help us, and it's just been a wonderful working relationship ever since. And we're very grateful to that particular night, that table.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was good.
Well, I can say Martin's just had to go and look after one of our children that appeared, by the way. In case you're wondering why he rudely left the room. But no, having met Walter a few times now, you did. That was good job getting him at your table, because he's brilliant, such a genuine guy, and the distillery. Yeah, and the estate and the distillery and everything is so cool, so quirky. We love it there. I can't wait to go back. He's been building like crazy, hasn't he?
Yeah.
No, I've been enjoying all the Facebook and Instagram stuff that he's been putting up, because it's just
I know.
It looks like it's going to be a completely different place by the time we're
Absolutely. Talk about being productive in lockdown. It's making me feel bad.
It's a shame. To build a few houses, it's fine. You know?
And I know that you guys secured, part of your journey was obviously to always have your own distillery, and you secured, your own place. So I know we're excited to hear what a little bit more about that and what stage you're at.
So I think we're at the very beginning stage still. Obviously, lockdown hasn't helped. But I think as well, because we've been working with Walter now for, is it 3 years?
Yeah.
And he goes out of his way to help us. That we've actually got into a lovely situation of, one of us will drive up with the botanicals and the bottles, and then obviously Walter then makes it and bottles it, and then we get it sent back to East Lothian once it's obviously rested, etc., and bottled. And it just works well for the time being. And I think we're really busy with our families and kids and jobs, that it works for us.
Yeah.
We will in the future. Yeah. We've got this fantastic space up at Kilduff. It's not the biggest of spaces, but you could have a little working distillery in it. So at the moment we use it a lot. We store the gin there. We've got obviously we've got a little office in there as well, so we can escape now and again if it all gets too much at home. So yeah, it's so for the time being that's where we are, and we do have a little bit of sort of kit. We obviously have a labelling machine, and we will get there. And to be honest, lockdown's made us reevaluate, because I think for us we hardly have any outgoings, and I think especially over this time that has been, well, for us it just means we can continue.
Yeah, I think it's been in a way it's been quite good that we hadn't put in a big capital investment and so on, because of what's happened and the way everything's gone in the past few months. So actually we've been quite fortunate in that respect. So so the unit we use it the whole time. We use it for various things, but we'll see how we go. We've got a very good working relationship with Walter, and he does a great job, and the gin has been so popular, and people seem to really like it. So you just feel like he's doing a brilliant job for us. So
Yeah.
we'll see how we go.
I think your packaging and branding helps a lot as well, though, because I think it's a fantastic looking bottle, and I think it must be the tallest bottle in Scottish.
Yeah.
We have had a few comments they don't fit on gin shelves properly, but actually the reason why we chose it was because of the resemblance to a lighthouse, which obviously is on Fidra Island.
Okay.
And also a lot of bartenders or whatever their names are, mixologists, have said they really like working with our bottle because it's really handy. It's easy to sort of handle and get the gin poured as well. So and the label was again designed by our neighbour who also lives where Joe
next door to you.
Next door to me. And it just obviously knew, because we didn't know at the time what we wanted our label to look like. So he came up with a few ideas. So we had a few focus groups, but definitely the map was the one that was amazing.
I love the little lighthouse you've got on it as well. It's really
very subtle,
just ties everything together, does it? It's a beautiful bottle. Love it.
Yeah, and I love the foiling. I've never quite seen that. It's not quite blue. It's got a purpley tint to it as well. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Absolutely lovely. And so I'm giving Martin a break because he's just catching up. But so you obviously mentioned about day jobs. How are you juggling day jobs and family life and the gin business just now?
Yeah, it's pretty full on, but I know everyone's in the same situation. My husband, he's a wine merchant, so obviously for him, this has been testing time as well, because most of his, was trade, selling to the trade, etc. And obviously we're extremely devastated what's happened, especially to that industry. It's just, and when it can get back up and running again. So I'm lucky that he's actually around at the moment, so I am able to go out and help out Jane on the farm at East Fortune. Sadly, obviously, my childminding came to an end as soon as lockdown was announced. But we've just got on with it, and we're in week 13 now, and every day changes. The kids are full on with the homeschooling, but they seem to have got a rhythm going. So again, good day today, might be a bad day tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, great.
And it's worked all right for us as well, because my husband normally works in London through the week, so he's been working from home the whole time. So actually it's been really nice because he's been around, and although most of his day he's on calls a lot, so I've been kind of the homeschooler. But it's fine. My son's 10, so he's a bit more self-sufficient. He can get on with his work. He can get him settled in, and then he can get going. I think it's probably harder for you guys. I know your kids are younger, but so it's worked fine. It's getting a bit trickier now because I'm back doing more podiatry. We're back working again, so it's a little bit trickier. But we'll just muddle through. There's not really anything else you can do, is there?
No, at least as you say, it kind of almost makes you feel better that we're all actually, everyone's in the same boat.
I think it's something we're all going through almost collectively, and I think it's like you said, sometimes you'll have good days and bad days, but I think at the end of the day, as long as all your friends and family are safe and well, and you're still able to pay your mortgage, and you've got your health, I think we've considering we've got a lot to be grateful for. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I know. I think you're quite right. Yeah.
And I guess, have you missed the sort of the social aspect of gin, where you get to attend gin events and talk to gin drinkers and gin bloggers and?
Yeah, because that's one of the main parts as well of having a gin business. And this weekend was supposed to be the Royal Highland show, which we did last year. We did the 4 days last year. So yeah, it's a really hard thing to sort of get your head around. And also we were supposed to have, there was quite a few events that were sort of booked.
Yeah, there were quite a few things planned for this summer, because the Highland show was great fun last year, and you see, and quite a lot of the people who were around us in stalls around us at the Highland show, we would then see the week later Haddington show, local agricultural shows and things. So and also we do the Haddington Farmers Market once a month, so that's all been shut down, although hopefully they're going to be able to have one at the end of June. They're just trying to work out whether that's going to happen or not.
Okay.
So yeah, we've been missing all that. I think it's really nice to see everybody at these events.
And it's lovely to meet all the people that you interact with as well on social media. And we've had so much lovely support from, people, the gin bloggers and, anyone sort of in that gin, industry. So yeah, we are missing it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a lovely part of it, and I guess it's like everything else. If the upside to it is it provides you with a period of reflection, I suppose, doesn't it? Sometimes about, right, what do we want to do going into next year, and so it'll be interesting to see what kind of events, and hopefully some more online events. Like this has taken us completely out of our comfort zone, but I think there's definitely a space for it, and it's great that you can still connect with people despite not being,
It's all right for
face
you.
to face.
At least you've got a face for this. I've got a face for radio, so.
That may be a bit harsh on yourself there.
Yeah. Oh well.
And what's some of the you mentioned about some of the the gym bloggers, and obviously you've got regular customers, I'm sure, especially locally. What's some of the best feedback you've ever received about the product?
Well, we were talking about this earlier, and actually for us it's the repeat customers, because that in itself just for us speaks volumes that they actually like drinking our gin, which is pretty amazing. But we get feedback all the time, and most of it tends to be
really
very
good
positive
feedback,
and good. So
I've got the online side of the business has been pretty busy whilst the lockdown's been on, and we had there's one customer, and she's bought quite a few bottles of gin, and on one occasion she emailed me and she said, "I hope you don't think badly of us." It's our nightly treat. I said, "No, it's fine, don't worry about it."
No.
So it's nice. I've had a lot of people, actually it's been nice because the online business has kind of grown during the lockdown, so it's been really nice because you feel like you're making some nice connections with people where you wouldn't normally in normal times have a chance to so much. So quite a few of them have been giving us some really nice feedback, saying it's their favourite gin or love the brand or da. So it's really good.
And also Joe's very good. Joe's at the moment doing all the sort of packing of bottles, poor thing.
I don't mind it. It's been
sent out, and Joe, we've got these lovely postcards, or bookmarks should I say, that were designed by Richard Collins, who's an artist in Edinburgh, and Joe does a lovely handwritten note in each bottle, and people really appreciate that. They're just a little bit of personal touch. So
and we've been delivering on like push bikes on our sort of daily exercise with quite a lot of the local ones. We just I just put them in, lots of bottles of gin in a rucksack, and off I go with
Fantastic. Good. Quite right. Yeah. Personal touch, personal delivery. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And we had one lady that contacted us because she put the order in on the internet, and half an hour later the gin was on her doorstep. So she had to say, "Thank you so much, the speediest gin service."
That was more luck than judgment.
Yeah. That's probably the quickest Scottish gin delivery
that's it.
in history.
Yeah, if there was a record.
There's maybe a Guinness record in there somewhere.
That's it.
But obviously, I mean, you guys are still a relatively new business, so I guess what are some of the challenges you faced and had to overcome as a business?
I think it's, there's challenges to all, every business, and I think for us it is just managing our time, and because Joe and I lead quite busy lives with, work, children, as we mentioned before, it's really hard to pin time down where both of us can actually.
We can sit down together and
now,
actually discuss.
And it doesn't happen that often, so there's a lot of frantic telephone calls. There's a lot of, but it works. It works well. But that's probably the biggest challenge is time.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I guess is just to conclude. I mean, what would you say? What are your best bits, your highlights from the last few years?
So I think, the highlight has to be obviously meeting Walter of Intrier. That's definitely up there as one of the highlights. And also coming 5th in the Scottish Gin Awards last year for London Dry Gin.
Best London Dry Gin. There were 45 finalists, and we were 5th, so we got a highly commended medal. So we've got a little sticker to go on the gin. and it was just really exciting
Yeah.
because we beat a lot of companies, gin brands which are much bigger than us, and so it was really really exciting. It was a really good thing to happen. Yeah.
I guess it's nice to get that sort of industry recognition as well. The fact that, you know, it's the judging panels made up of a variety of people from across the sort of world of gin and business and things like that. So I guess it's a thumbs up for your gin and your branding and your packaging, and obviously how you're growing your business as well. So no, fantastic to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously working with you guys as well, so thank you for all your support right from the beginning.
Thank you.
Amazing.
It's been a pleasure, and we, as I hope you know, we take great pride in what we do, and we consider ourselves very lucky. And you know, it's working with lovely people that like yourselves that makes it that way. So no, thank you for all your support, and thank you for taking the time tonight to chat to us. So
for us,
no, not at all. And yeah, we're glad you could both be there, although not right
socially
next to
distanced.
one another. Yeah, absolutely. So, but no, we'll let you back to your evening, and yeah, just thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Natalie.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Martin.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Take care. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Right, that was lovely as expected. Jo and Em have always been very supportive, and yeah, they took part in the International Scottish G&T celebrations at Mansfield Tracker, the gin fair last year, and it was great to you know, and really celebrate with them on the day as well.
Get a chance to chat to them and get to know them a bit better.
Yeah, but no. So I guess we'll leave it at that. Next we have
Peter Dignan from Lost Loch tomorrow night.
I know, so two in a row.
No rest for the wicked.
That's it.
And then next Wednesday we've got Deer Nest Distillery, and then on the Thursday next week we've got Ben and Turich.
Yeah, makers of Kintyre gin. So it's kind of full on, but we're really enjoying this, and
yeah, hope you're seeing some learning some new things about the gin makers and the people behind the brands you know and you drink. So yeah, thanks for all your support as well, and thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Take care.
Good night.